Welcome to Momentum Monday. It's Monday, April 8th.
What's up, dude?
Not much, Howard. How are you?
Good. We were just chatting. It's 95 degrees here in Phoenix today.
It's like 65 in San Diego.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right. So Monday, April 8th, tax day next Monday.
I know I'm still working on my taxes because I owe as usual. So I'm waiting until the last moment.
Yeah. I'm going to pay mine. Same as you. It's not going to be a pretty week because I'm traveling for a couple weeks too. Let's get right to the market.
All right. Let me share my screen. All right. This is the chart of the S&P 500.
So Ivan, the people can just see the charts, correct?
Yes.
All right. So people can zoom in. What do you see, Ivan?
The S&P 500, which represents the 500 biggest companies in market cap in the US, is just basically near all-time highs. It's just less than 2% away from new all-time highs. And NASDAQ 100, which represents more tech companies, is also there. It's even less, only 1.3% away from its all-time highs.
Interesting. All my friends that are in the leverage one, pull up the triple NASDAQ 100, and we can see why leverage products don't work.
Sometimes they can work over the long term. If the underlying...
Yeah, I mean, it's tracking it pretty good. It's how far off an all-time high is that?
Let's see. 16%.
So, and we're basically at an all-time high though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see there's some slippage there, which is, you got to be really precise. All my friends that are just 3 times long the NASDAQ.
During corrections, that index
I think they work.
Has substantial drawdowns.
You know, I've got burned in that. Okay, so NASDAQ back at all-time high. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, compared to small caps, which are still far away from it, I think for small caps, the 160 is a really important level to clear. And luckily...
What's holding it back? Last week we talked about financials, but I don't know.
Mostly financials, some small cap biotech stocks. And earnings season starts next week, I think, with a bunch of financials reporting. Wow. So it will be really interesting to see how this time the market will react, because over the past few earnings seasons, we always saw a rally in front of banks' earnings and then a sell-off after that. So it will be interesting to see if there will be a change in that pattern. Because currently, as you can see, we're still seeing that rally into earnings. So, I mean, for me, it's more important to see how the market will react after those numbers.
Yeah, let's go through some of the leading stocks. Apple, like some of the bigger cap names. Apple crossed 200 today, I saw.
Yes, Apple is still the cheapest mega cap, only P of 16. It's acting extremely constructively.
Yeah, but it seems like they're not going out of business anymore.
I mean, of course they're not.
I remember reading some articles about in December as I became the Apple fund. So tempted to sell a little more, but not going to. Sold enough on the way up here, but I definitely am tempted. It's very hard for me to. It's fun to watch, but I would have gladly. What's interesting about Apple, when it broke 200 and I was accumulating, at 210 it looked like a good trade, and then at below 200 I knew I was in trouble, and then at 140 everybody was out of the boat, and now we're back above 200, and that's quite a first quarter. January, February, March. Pretty amazing. Where are the rest of the FANGs?
All right, let's take a look at Facebook, which is trying to build a base above its 200-day. For the most part, I think it's acting constructively despite all the legal issues and headline risk, Facebook is acting well. It continues to grow faster than the rest of the social media
I think
companies.
Microsoft's probably the strongest. I mean, Apple has the biggest market cap again, but Microsoft seems to be the strongest of the big caps.
Yeah, it's already almost at all-time highs,
Yeah.
less than 1%. So
yeah, so Netflix is probably the biggest. Netflix and Facebook are the big laggards.
Netflix has done relatively well. It's been in a range for the past few weeks, and it's in that level here around 380 is a big hurdle.
So it seems the only Dow stock that's done badly this year is Boeing.
Yes, Boeing, but that's for individual reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, basically that's it. That's the weakest.
Yeah, you take that out and the markets are really cooking, because that's basically down, for a high price stock in the Dow, that's down almost 15% off its all-time highs. But actually, yeah. And okay, so let's go to where the momentum is, Ivan. Because obviously, if the NASDAQ and S&P are inches from high, there's got to be stocks doing phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum is everywhere. Last week, we saw actually a little sector rotation. We saw the enterprise software stocks, which were the leaders, which have been the leaders for more than a year, taking a hit on a very large volume last Thursday. So it will be really interesting to see if they bounce, because in a strong bull market, market leaders bounce. But the market indices didn't even skip a beat on that sell-off in those momentum tech stocks, because the money just went to other sectors. And then we saw, for example, home builders, home construction stocks, like Home Depot, just rallying hard.
Yeah, so basically Home Depot's been marking time for a year.
Yes,
we got
setting up.
Marking time, okay.
Very interesting. We saw very interesting rotations last week into other sectors. And this is why we say that bull markets correct through sector rotation. And while one sector can pull back 5, even 10%, when other sectors continue to rise, we see very little drawdowns in the overall.
If you look at go back to the home builder one, the XBI. Oh, no, that wasn't.
XBI is the small cap
home builder index. You could see in December, when there was fear of rates shooting up, how badly that got pummeled. So that's off the lows too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's among the leading. I think that one of the signature indicators of risk appetite is a small cap biotech ETF, XBI, which, as you can see, last week it tried to break out. And in a stronger market, I think it's quite possible to test that 100 level. Also, Chinese stocks have been recovering as if there will actually be a trade deal coming up. I mean, look at Baba. I think it's looking very constructive.
It's already basically priced. And if we look at Tencent, which I'm long, I had our event. I mean, they're worried about gaming in China, and Tencent obviously is like 40% of their revenue is gaming. So it hasn't bounced as well as other companies. So there's that overhang over Tencent. But it seems to be like everybody's just starting to front run the idea that Trump's playing this, and that can be a dangerous trade, because he has a lot of room to maneuver with the markets being at all-time highs. So politically, a lot of people are just foregone conclusion at this point. In my Twitter streams, pretty smart macro people that, he's going to cut a deal with China, but it sure has been a long time of predicting that's a no-brainer that he's going to cut this deal. So I'm not as convinced. So let's go look at some individual. And then I was with Joe Chen, who founded Renren this weekend, and he was pretty bearish on China. Then again, he's living in the United States, so it's, when you're not literally living there in China, it's hard to really know. That was how big a company at one point, $5 to $10 billion company. Okay, so let's go to the individual leaders, Ivan.
Okay. Let's take a quick look at the current Momentum 50 list. And we see quite a good variety in the top 10. We see biotech, healthcare, Mercury. I think it's a defense stock. WK, it's enterprise software.
Workiva application.
EVNT.
There's some new names. I mean, what I'm looking at here is Workiva is a new name, but it's been on a great run already.
Yes.
Acacia Communications. There are a lot of new names here, but I'm not familiar with any yet. What I like to do is when I look at this list, Ivan, is see, and I'm not going to scroll all the way down this week, but I like to see some ideas that I understand the catalyst. So this is immediately not as exciting to me. So which could be great. I don't want to dig too deep into new ideas right now in this market when everything's working. But I would say that concerns me personally. I don't read much into that other than I'm sure it's great to see new names in there. But you're right. There's a lot of biotech.
Yeah. Let's take a look at
Cree is the most interesting one. Go through a few. Yes, Sage, that looks great. Sage Therapeutics. Okay.
Sage just breaking out near multi-year highs. Let's take a look on the weekly. Yeah, it's just a beautiful tight base above its 50-day moving average.
Yes.
In a strong market, this one is probably going to 180, 190. Let's take a look at the other one. ViiV, that was number one.
That's a cloud-based CRM product for healthcare.
Yeah, it just keeps climbing. All the dips keeps getting above.
For healthcare, damn, I miss that. I love that in the 70s. So I think it's been on the list 18 weeks. So that's it's been on the list all quarter. So we can see it's had a great. So this is Mercury. That looks interesting.
Yeah, it seems to be setting up again after that earnings-related breakout.
Intelligence applications, yeah. Go to a weekly on Mercury, in the aerospace. It's obviously had a great run. So
it broke out, then retested the breakouts.
But a buybagger. So congrats to the longs there. Again, but they're big breakouts after wide sloppy bases. So they're interesting to watch. What about? The one that looked interesting was Cree, because the semiconductors are at all-time highs, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're, at least on a daily basis, there are quite a few semiconductors that are looking.
That may not give you a chance to get in. That looked really interesting. Where is that on a weekly and monthly?
All right. On a weekly, they all will look extended. On a monthly, not that much. Yeah.
That is interesting. Doesn't it? So let me see what they do. It's a name from 100 years old, but silicon carbide and oh my God, gallium. I remember that word from 1999. Okay, so giddy up. I don't know semiconductors, but that looks good. Where's the SMH?
SMH, let's take a look. It's just near.
It's breaking out.
All-time highs.
Cyclically, this is
actually it cleared new 52-week highs today, which is.
Bears have got to be really nervous. There's so many.
It's basically all-time highs.
That is incredible. Okay, that is the chart of the week.
Yeah, a few semiconductors that look interesting to me. This one, XLNX, it had an amazing run after its earnings gap here.
And it's held it even through even through December. It was the first stock to break out after the crash in December.
Exactly. This one also is looking interesting. Finsar.
Yeah. But I would say go back to the semis. We'll end it there. That is the chart. You just don't like December was ugly. You don't look at that. If you were to draw a line, Ivan, along, to that we're breaking out. Wow. You hold that line right where you got that line, Ivan. You crashed. You could have, let's just think about this for a second. You had that great pullback in December. It was trapped everybody. You think about all the bears in December, looking at that, right there, and they're going,
there was a 30% pullback, yes.
From the all-time highs, and it was bear trap, 20-year bear trap, and then boom. That is the chart. I think, keep it simple with the semiconductors looking good. even though I don't play semiconductors and really don't play biotechs. You're gonna have to widen your list. If your stocks are underperforming, you're gonna have to keep an eye on this index and add some beta to your portfolio with some semiconductor stocks. Don't hold on to your losers in a market that may be changing. So I think that's why if we go back to SL50, I don't want to scroll down the whole list, but that's what I can see from looking at it just all these weeks and all these months. No, I don't have to scroll down. Payments still leads. But with this many names, Ivan, that I don't recognize, and I think you can look at it two ways. Because usually I own some of these names, and the only one I see there in the top group is Stone, which is a Latin America, and you can see Mercado Libre and Stone. So there's something going on in Latin America. There's something going on in semiconductors. Semiconductors is a global business. If we think about drones, machine learning, AI, whether you believe in it or not, that benefits the semiconductor industry, including biotech. So I think you just got to focus on semiconductors and find a couple trends that you really understand and manage that accordingly. At the same time, I think you got to cut your losers here. Anything that's not holding up. People stuck in financials, people stuck in lagging FANG stocks. If this market goes, it looks like it's going to be with some names that you haven't recognized. And yeah, the financials, look at that. And by the way, even if they took out all time, so we're talking about 5 to 10% moves. So let's take a look at Goldman. Yeah. So this is not, I think people are really leaving the old guys behind. I mean, even with this great rally, Goldman's still massively under, the 17 prices. Bank of America, quickly, I'm going to see if it's just a Goldman problem. And what's so interesting about, yeah. So again, we're back at, 2017 prices with just, yeah, you got to, all right, so let's end it again with the semiconductors one more time, Ivan, because I'm doing my work as we speak here. What else? Can we go look at some of the other names in there, Ivan, in Koyfin maybe?
In SMH?
Yeah.
Sure.
People just need to see some of these names, and we'll check some into it to see if within semiconductors what's working. Obviously, Intel must be working.
AMD, Intel, yes. And
I want to see if we can see.
Probably Qualcomm. Let's take a quick look.
Those are the big names, but let's see what's really.
So we already mentioned this one.
Tiffany's working on some things just so we can see more charts quicker, but
CDNS, Mchip.
Jesus, names that I just don't follow. OLED's been a huge winner. Lam Research. I mean, look at these companies. We haven't talked about these. People don't talk about these companies. Advanced. Oh my God, I used to trade these in 1990. Intel, Marvell, Applied Materials. I mean, these. Listen, it's hard I've been burned so many times in semiconductors, but you have to respect what's going on here.
Yeah, Qorvo is looking.
Are you seeing them? Yeah, but that's kind of a laggard, Qorvo, in a sense. That look at all the ones that have already broken out.
Yeah, I mean, if the semi continue to be strong, it will be the next one to break out. Look at that tiny base for me here. So above 75.
Yeah, pull that up in IBD. Yeah.
It's not looking that interesting. Yeah, you're right.
I think you just got to be careful. You got to stick with some leaders here.
Yeah.
We'll do a little more work. I mean, maybe do a little more work there for our Market Wisdom subscribers. So, Ivan, if people want to subscribe on a daily basis, what do they do?
Well, they just go to marketwisdom.com, and then either under the homepage or either under pricing, you go there. You choose the monthly or annual. Apparently, on annual we offer a 20% discount, and for more Peloton subscribers, we even offer a deeper discount. You just need to reach out to us.
Hit the Ivan Man up. Great mentor. I'm building a portfolio for people over time. We got the Momentum 50 list and some pretty good ideas shared daily. All right, buddy. Have a great week.
You too, Howard.